Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to our flexible spending plan presentation. And hopefully everybody will be excited about this wonderful benefit that your employer is offering. And as the most interesting man in the world says, I don't always tell the IRS to keep its grubby paws off my paycheck, but when I do, I use my flexible spending account. So we're going to talk now about the flexible spending account. I'm going to break the presentation up into three parts. First, we're going to talk about the benefits of the plan. Second, we're going to talk about the IRS rules and regulations. And third, we're going to talk about the physical mechanics of the plan. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is dependent daycare. How do we save money so that we can have someone watch our child so that we can work? And I'm going to pick on Diana. And I know that Diana has a child in daycare. And if she uses the tax credit, she can look at the first $3,000 that she spends and maybe get a 20% credit on that. So that's about a $600 tax savings. Nothing to sneeze at. However, in the flexible spending plan, she can look at the first $5,000 that she spends and save her tax bracket plus her Social Security and Medicare taxes. Savings could be anywhere between $1,200 and $1,250. 600, 1,200. Not rocket science.
No.
So the flexible spending for your dependent care is super. It's full-time up to and including the grade before kindergarten, from kindergarten to age 12, not 13. It's before care, after care, early release days, winter break, spring break, summer day camp, not sleepaway camp. Okay. Medical expense reimbursement. So I know that Ben is going to be getting LASIK surgery coming up in the next plan year. And we're going to pretend that it only costs $1,000, even though it's more than that. And so here is $1,000 that Ben has from his paycheck. And every single time Ben makes $1,000, $250 goes to Uncle Sam. So I'm the LASIK surgeon. Thank you. And now you have
Good vision.
good vision. Uncle Sam, you have?
$250.
Now we're going to put Ben in the flexible spending plan. Most important part of this transaction. We take the money away from Uncle Sam and give it back to Ben. I'm still the LASIK surgeon. Why is this important? Because this is just tax savings. There's no network. If he was going to use my services before, now that he's got the flexible spending plan, he doesn't have to look around for a different provider. He can still use me. And because I still got the same amount of money to me, I can actually pay attention to both eyes. Make sure I'm really careful with that laser beam. And now, Ben, you have?
Good vision and $250.
Uncle Sam, you have?
Nothing.
Are we happy about that?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so now we know that this is for our various out-of-pocket medical and daycare expenses. For vision, it's the LASIK surgery, glasses, contact lenses. Dental, it's not cosmetic dentistry, no teeth bleaching, no teeth whitening, but anything that hurts, periodontal scalings, crowns, bridges, root canals, child orthodontia, adult orthodontia, regular dental checkups and x-rays. It could be your plan deductible, your copay, your co-insurance, your prescription copay, anything that's permissible for you and anybody in your tax family, whether they're on your employer group medical plan or not, or whether you're on the employer group medical plan or not. So my husband, way older than me, is on Medicare. He's not on our group plan here, but he's diabetic, and so I put all his prescription expenses through our flexible spending plan so that we can get the tax benefit of that, and that's perfectly okay. There's also a list in your packet of the types of medical expenses which the IRS always allows, sometimes allows, and never allows, so make sure that you familiarized yourself with that. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the IRS, remembering that anything I say that you like comes directly from me in Diversified Administration. Anything I say that you do not like comes directly from the Internal Revenue Service. Okay, rule number one, easy to do. You have to sign up before your plan year starts. So if you have a December 1 to November 30 plan year, you have to sign up before November 30th. If you have a calendar plan year, January 1 to December 31, the month of December is your open enrollment period. You have to sign up before the end of the month. Otherwise, it's too late. Which brings me to rule 2. You are locked into your election for an entire plan year, and you cannot change your mind unless you have a change in status. So a change in status is not, for example, chickening out of a root canal. A change in status is actually generally changing the number of people on your tax return up or down. So you get married, you have a baby, you adopt a baby, there's a court order, your parent becomes your dependent for income tax purposes, which happens more and more these days. You could lose a dependent, generally through something sad like death or divorce. It could be something triumphant like kid finally moves out, not my dependent anymore, not under 27 anymore. Okay? It could be that your spouse loses a job or gains a job. So if you have a spouse that is staying home with a new baby and goes back to work in the middle of your plan year, all of a sudden you need daycare. You didn't need it before. So that would be a status change. And then the one that used to be the scariest IRS rule with respect to flexible spending plans was if you do not use all the money that you say you're going to use in the plan, you will lose it. You will forfeit it. You don't get it back. Whining, crying, yelling do not work. Okay, so make sure that when you make your elections that you're conservative. If you've never done this before, bump it down just a little bit. The worst that can happen that way is you're paying your expenses with dollars which are taxed when you're doing that now. So it's really, you're just paying a little bit of tax penalty for a learning curve, and that's fine. For the dependent care, most of our employers have added the 2-month and 15-day extension of time at the end of the year to continue to incur new expenses before that money's lost. So if Diana doesn't get all her expenses used up by the end of the year, which for our year is November 30th, and she has new claims in December, her December claims will first go to pay off this plan year and then roll into the next plan year. And you have until the end of the 3rd month to submit claims for those expenses. After that, the money is totally forfeited. For the medical expense reimbursement, the IRS has given employers 2 different choices. One of them is the 2-month and 15-day extension of time that we just heard about. It's identical to the one for the dependent care. The second one is a rollover. It's not permitted for the medical expense reimbursement to have both the 2-month and 15-day extension or the rollover, and you will have specific instructions as to which one your employer chose on your packet sheets. So the rollover works like this. At the end of the plan year, up to $500 will roll over for use in the upcoming plan year. So if I have $800 at the end of the plan year, and I have the 2-month and 15-day extension, I have 2 months and 15 days to use all $800. If I have the rollover, $300 is immediately lost, but I have the entire next plan year, or until my termination date, whichever comes first, to use that $500. So a choice between 2 good things. There's not one that's better than the other. Okay, so that's it for the IRS rules. Now let's talk about the physical mechanics of the plan. 1, how does the money get in there? 2, how do I get my money back? And what's this whole process about? Remember, our entire purpose is to cut Uncle Sam out of the equation. We don't want him digging into our paycheck. That's why we're participating in this plan. We have the expenses one way or another. Ben was going to get the LASIK whether or not he had a flexible spending plan. Diana's going to put her kids in daycare whether or not we have a flexible spending plan. My husband is still diabetic. He's going to get his prescriptions filled whether or not we have a flexible spending plan. So you make your annual election and we divide it equally by the number of pay periods that you have. So here we're paid semi-monthly. If I choose $100 a pay period, my annual election is $2,400. I'm putting $100 into the plan each pay period. My paycheck's not $100 less because Uncle Sam got cut out of his portion. My paycheck is only going to be $75 less. But when I go to the pharmacy to get the prescriptions filled, I get $100 worth of benefit for my pre-tax. So again, I made a $25 profit by cutting Uncle Sam out of the equation. So again, if you're paid 26 times a year, we're going to divide your annual election by 26. If you're paid monthly, by 12. If you're paid weekly, by 52. Okay, so that's how the money gets in there. And remember, you're locked in. You can't change your mind unless you have a change in status. You can't go, oops, I don't want this money taken out of my paycheck anymore. Or I didn't realize that's what was going to happen. That's not happening. Okay, so how do we get the money back? There's 3 different ways depending on different options that your employer has chosen. Many of our clients have chosen the FSA debit card, and it's loaded just like a Starbucks card. So if Ben elected $2,000 for the year, his card would have $2,000 on it. He hasn't payroll deducted that, obviously, at the beginning, but he's going to be making them all the way across our 24 pay periods, and at the end of the year, we'll be even. But he has that money available to him on every single day of the plan year. For Diana, for her daycare, the IRS has a different rule, and the amount available to you is the amount of your payroll deduction, plus any previous payroll deduction that hasn't been used up yet. So if she's putting in $208.33 a pay period, which is the most you can put in when you're paid semi-monthly, then, and she uses it every single time, that's all she's going to have available on that FSA debit card. Okay. For those of you that have an employer that didn't choose the debit card, or you yourself prefer not to use a debit card, there's two other ways that we can be reimbursed. One of them is by direct deposit, meaning you've signed up some paperwork and saying, when I have a claim, put my money in this account. And on the back of the packet sheets that we're giving you, there will be a schedule that says, as long as your claim is received by 4 o'clock on this date, the direct deposit will be initiated through the federal banking system on this date. And you know that 2 or 3 business days later, you will have that money in your account. If you choose not to have the direct deposit, or if direct deposit's not available and you have a manual claim, and I'll talk about that in a second, then we're going to issue a check made out to you. And we're going, because we don't have your employer's money, we're going to print the check and send it unsigned for your employer for signature and distribution. So you will still get the money exactly at the same time. So you will need to fill out a claim form. Claim forms are here. You can also get them on our website and fill them out electronically and press the Submit Secure button. But you will need the claim form and the receipt showing your expense. So Ben would get the receipt, from the LASIK Institute, and say, like, Ben Davis, December 5th, 2015, LASIK surgery, $2,000. And then he'll submit that with a claim form, and we'll go ahead and approve the claim. When Diana takes her child to daycare, it'll say, daycare, Mateo, December 1st to December 15th, $200, and then she'll get reimbursed the $200. So that's how that would work. When I submit my husband's expenses for the prescriptions, I'll have like a whole list of the 6 different ones that he gets every month. I'll show the price, for each one. And then I'll say prescriptions for who, spouse, the total, $250. And then I'll submit that and I'll get reimbursed if I didn't use my debit card for that. So how do you keep track of everything? Well, we've got 2 marvelous ways. The first way is we've got a website that's updated 24/7. And you can, sign in to the general part of the website to get claim forms, frequently asked questions, everything else, and to the HIPAA protected website to get your part, your HIPAA information, your account information. And for those of you that are a little more technological, we've got a super phone app so that you can check your accounts right on your phone. So let's say that Judy was going to get a new pair of glasses and she needed to see right then if she could afford the kind of nice glasses or the super duper, frames that were just a little more special. All she'd have to do is look at her phone and it tells her that she's got $400 left, and she goes, yeah, that's enough for the super duper ones, and she's good. So that's how it works. We are available by phone or email to answer any questions that you have. And again, I hope that you will take advantage of this plan, because the whole purpose of this plan, again, is to keep more of your paycheck in your pocket and less of your paycheck sent to Uncle Sam. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.